Hello, welcome to Rose Movie Recap Channel. This drama is about a high school girl named Sun Dayun. She is living with her parents and two sisters. One of her sisters is an actress named Son Dain, and the other one is a prosecutor named Son Dami. Her sisters want to move to another city, and they take their little sister with them. After moving, they ask her to buy snacks for them. When she comes back to their new home, she rushes to the elevator as it's about to get closed. Someone is also inside it. Dune keeps getting curious about him and carefully tries to look at him. As she's looking, she drops the things she bought earlier, and he helps her to pick them up. She falls in love with him from the first sight. She treats him as her destiny that they met on the first day of her moving there. Her neighbor's name is Kim Seung-hyu. He's a very quiet person, unlike her. Dayun transfers to a new school for her senior year. She is nervous, but the moment she enters the class, she notices Seung-hyu sitting beside the window, which makes her very happy. He also notices her. Her classmates come close to her to introduce themselves and become friends with her. They are very friendly. Another boy comes whose name is Na Yu-il. He was her classmate in junior high school, and they were close friends with each other. Her eyes are only on Seung-hyu, who is sitting quietly, without talking to anyone. He doesn't have friends and doesn't speak at all. However, he has grabbed all her attention from the very beginning. When the bell rings, she quickly says goodbye to her new friends and rushes to Seung-hyu. She calls his name and tells him that they are neighbors and met last night. He refuses to talk to her. She then suddenly says, "I like you, and I think you are my destiny." She is very cheerful and bright about this. However, he is very emotionless towards her. He tells her to close her eyes. She thinks he wants to do something, but when she closes and opens her eyes again, then realizes that he left her. At night, Seung-hyu finds Daeun's sister drunk and brings her back home. He then helps her clean the floor where she vomited. Daeun is very happy to spend more time with him. When Seung-hyu goes back home, a girl suddenly appears there asking him why he gave his phone number to Daeun. He refuses to have conversation with her. Her name is Go Eun-ha, who is Seung-hyu's stepsister. Her mother got married to his father, and they are living together. The next day, Daeun is waiting for him and wants to go to school with him. She tries to get closer to him during the school day and lunchtime, because he always eats alone, so she is the first one at that school who is trying to become friends with him. During the class, she approaches him by his desk and asks him if they can meet on weekend. Na Yu-il sees this and gets angry that she is getting closer to Seung-hyu. He then approaches Daeun and takes her out of the class to talk to her. He warns her to not get close to Seung-hyu, as he is a very suspicious person, and her cheerful behavior is very away from her usual behavior. It seems that she didn't used to be this bright in the past that Yu-il knows. Daeun now has Seung-hyu's phone number, and she keeps texting him with sweet words. It is the first time that Seung-hyu smiles while reading her texts. She makes his cold heart melt. However, this doesn't take long as a group of boys approach him, which they seem to be his previous school's classmate. They want to start fighting with him, and they say that they have finally found him. At this moment, Daeun sees him and goes to Seung-hyu. He tells her to leave because he doesn't want those boys to see her. They think she is his girlfriend, which they want to talk to her. But Seung-hyu covers her and tells them to not get close to her. Then suddenly, Daeun's sisters appear. They first think that those students, her sister's friends, but then realize that they aren't. One of them wants to hit her, but Dami shows her work badge to him and tells him that she will arrest them if they bother her sister again. They then take Daeun, Seung-hyu, and Yu-il, who join them to protect Daeun, as he saw them from distance, and they all go home together. One thing that is bothering her is that one of the boys told Seung-hyu that he is living with a girl named Yoon-ha. Daeun is thinking that Seung-hyu might have a girlfriend. He then texts her, asking to meet him during weekend. She gets very excited. Good grades. But he doesn't, and college entrance exams are coming up. She gets excited to teach him and promises him that she will bring his grades up. He carefully listens to her, and they have a good time with each other while studying. He then tells her that he has searched for a good restaurant that they can eat. He is getting very shy while telling her these words. While they are walking, they meet their other classmates. They all eat together, and he tells everyone that it was him who wanted to meet her. When they get out of the restaurant, he suddenly stops and keeps looking at Dayun, who looks back and calls him to get closer to them. She is a bright spot in his dark life, who always pulls him towards happiness. They also meet another day as she keeps tutoring him. Her sister told him about the fact that Daeyoung thinks of him as her destiny. Seung-hyu then says that he is happy that she thinks about him that way. Seung-hyu confesses his feelings to her and asks her to be his girlfriend. Daeyoon accepts it, but he asks her to keep their relationship secret for now, as to not grab attention in the class. He grabs her hand and they go home together. When he goes back home, he sees his stepsister eating a lot as she is very nervous and became traumatic. He takes her to hospital. While he is not at school, the bad boy calls Seung-hyu's ex-girlfriend from his previous school and tells her that he now has a new girlfriend. He gives her all Daeyoon's details. Daeyoon is texting Seung-hyu, but he is not replying as he's at the hospital. On her way home, Seung-hyu's ex-girlfriend, whose name is Ju Hong-yeon, approaches her and pushes her. She keeps asking questions about Seung-hyu and her relationship with him. At that moment, Yoo-il approaches them and stops Hong-yeon by telling them that Daeyoon is his girlfriend. He told them that this is to prevent them from bothering her again. Daeyoon goes back home and keeps waiting for Seung-hyu on the stairs. Seung-hyu comes and sits next to her. He explains to her what happened and apologizes to her for not replying to her. He expresses how much he missed her today as he didn't see her in the morning. He then approaches her and gently kisses her. His stepsister is watching them while they are kissing. Seung-hyu has found his comfort place, whom he keeps missing, and he's able to smile while she is with him. He asks her to listen to his favorite songs. Seung-hyu says that he needs to leave early. Daeyoung is happily listening to those songs, as she is happy that they are getting closer to each other. While she is listening to it, those bad guys approach her from all the sides and take her. One of the boys among those bad guys is actually nice, and runs to Seung-hyu and tells him that they have kidnapped his girlfriend. Seung-hyu gets very worried and runs to find her. The past is shown when he was in his previous school, and he was actually close to those guys. One day they inform him that his stalker is caught by his girlfriend. He rushes to the restroom and sees that Hong-yeon is bullying Yoon-ha. He gets angry and takes her away from there. In the past, Yoon-ha had crush on Seung-hyu, and the rumor spread that he is living with his girlfriend, while they didn't know that she is his stepsister. Yoon-ha begged him to not tell his father about this. This incident became a trauma for Yoon-ha, who still can't forget it. The present is shown where they take Daeyoon to a park's public restroom. Seung-hyu's ex-girlfriend pushes her and hits her head to the wall. Daeyoon then becomes unconscious. They now want to take videos of her to post it online later. Seung-hyu and his friend are searching all over the park to find her, but they haven't found her yet. He is very worried about her and wants to find her right away. Their school teachers are on patrol, and they notice the bullying scene. The teacher recognizes Daeyoon and calls ambulance, but those kids get away from this situation as there is no evidence that they did it. Seung-hyu sees the ambulance and runs after it. Daeyoung's parents go to visit her. Her sisters insist on filing a complaint, so the preparators will get punished for what they did. However, their parents tell them to not do it. Dami then gets angry at them, telling them that they don't want to do it because of their political status. They tell them that they purposely took their little sister with them so she can live freely. Daeyoon is listening to their conversation, and she is silently crying. Her sisters are very supportive of her and want to help her. Seung-hyu is talking to the boy who helped him. He wants to find them and punish them. Aeun-ha is listening to his conversation. For the first time, she is calm and tells him to go look after Daeyoon instead of thinking about getting revenge from those boys. Daeyoon wakes up and starts walking alone. As she is walking, she starts remembering her past when she was at her previous school. Her personality was completely different from now, as she was very cold and not cheerful at all. She was one of the top students who no one wanted to get close to her. However, she became friends with Yoo-il and Do-mere, who was smarter than her, and became the number one in class. They started studying together and spent a great time with each other. She treated them as her close friends and started to become happier. However, Mirai had a crush on her, but was scared to tell her about it. He was getting bullied, but tried to keep it a secret to not cause disappointment for his parents. Daeun and Yu-il tried to help him, but they didn't become successful. One day, he was at the rooftop. Daeun ran to approach him. He then said that he doesn't want to live anymore and confessed his feelings to her. Daeun turned around to go get help, but she heard a noise. She turned back her head and saw that Mirai was not there anymore. This was a very hard incident for her. She lost a friend whom she was very close to. As she is remembering that incident, Seung-hyu calls her. This is the first time he is facing her after the incident. He is very worried about her, but doesn't know how to express his feelings. Daeun says that they need time, and she wants to be alone now. However, he refuses to let her go and wants to stay by her side to help her, but she leaves him without continuing the conversation. When she goes back, she checks her phone and sees the video that they took from her that day is being posted online. Daeun starts screaming. Everyone sees this video, including her friends and Seung-hyu. Daeun locks herself in her room and doesn't want to talk to anyone. Her friends gather up to help her. Seung-hyu then offers a plan to punish those boys for what they did to Daeun. They agree to help him with his plan. Seung-hyu asks Yoon-ha to talk to Daeun, who was at a similar situation before, so Yoon-ha goes to Daeun's house to talk to her. She introduces herself and asks her to have a conversation with her. Seung-hyu finds out where the boys are, so all of them go there together to do their plan. They surprise them and ask them to go outside to face each other. On the other hand, Yoon-ha tells her all about their past and how Seung-hyu protected her from them and cut ties with all of them for what they did to her. However, she treated him bad all this time, where it wasn't his fault at all. It is shown how Seung-hyu didn't get angry at Yoon-ha for the false rumors of him living with his girlfriend and didn't tell anything to his father or her mother about this. Daeun also starts crying, saying that she saw Seung-hyu and he reminded her of Mirai, her friend whom she lost. She wanted to help Seung-hyu to not be lonely and not experience the same pain that Mirai experienced before. She says that she doesn't want to run away again and wants to stay by Seung-hyu's side this time. They start crying. Daeun calls her friend and gets to know Seung-hyu's location. All of them go to the park. Seung-hyu says that he's here with his friends to punish them for what they did to Daeun. He then punches him to trigger them to fight with them. They start fighting with each other, but they refuse to hit them and prefer to get hit by them instead. This is part of their plan. Seung-hyu told them that they needed solid evidence of their violence to be able to give it to police. They decided to trigger them to fight with them and asked the girls to hide somewhere close and take a video from them so they can submit it as evidence. Seung-hyu gets hit the most, but he doesn't give up or hit him back. Finally, the police arrives, and they submit the evidence too. Daeun's sister Demi is there too. He asks her about Daeun's condition. He then turns around and sees that Daeun is running towards him with a bright face as she has decided to be with him. At that moment, his ex-girlfriend approaches him and attacks his neck with a knife. His neck starts bleeding, and he becomes unconscious. They take him to the hospital while he's losing a lot of blood. Fortunately, they take him to the hospital on time, and he survives. They arrest all the preparators. Daeun faced another harsh incident, but this time Seung-hyu survived, as everyone, including her sister and friends, helped him. She is preparing study guides for him so he can use them to study. On her way to the hospital, she meets Eun-ha, and they go together. They have become close to each other as Eun-ha is now feeling much better. She is now rooting for Seung-hyu's and Daeun's relationship. Daeun is happy to see him healthy. She has promised herself to listen to her heart and stay with him as she loves him. She is sleeping beside him, and he keeps staring at her and wants to tell her something, but refuses to do so. On the day that he is supposed to get discharged from hospital, she gets beautifully dressed and goes there, but he isn't at the hospital. She goes to his home, and Yoon-ha gives her a letter that he left for her. He wrote in the letter that he loves her a lot, but he has caused a lot of harm to her, which she didn't deserve at all, So he wants to become a better person and meet her again when they are adults, to be a better version of himself and not cause any harm to her again. She starts crying. 3 years pass. She is now attending university, but she hasn't been able to forget Seong-hyo and her feelings for him. She hasn't dated anyone because of her love for him. He hasn't contacted her since then, but Dae-yoon still has hopes. One day, her sisters again ask her to buy snacks and drinks for them the way they did in the beginning of the drama. She goes and buys those things, and again rushes to get to the elevator. When she gets on, she sees that the button 7 is turned on the way it was on the first day she met him. Her heart starts beating faster, and she drops her stuff. Dae-yoon then slowly turns around and sees that the person behind her is actually Seong-hyo. The drama ends with the scene that Dae-yoon and Seong-hyo hug each other. They first met inside the elevator, and they reconciled there too. Thank you for watching this video. Please stay tuned for upcoming recap videos. Bye everyone.